encounter I had with Eunice was as the mother of Marcelo. I never thought that one day I would be her, and I never thought that she was who she was, because that's the thing, nobody knew in Brazil. And Walter gave me the script before inviting me. I didn't know that. He gave me as a friend just to read it. And I fall in love with the script because when Marcelo released the book, I ran to read it because I always knew that Marcelo's father had been tortured and killed, but I didn't know anything about the story. Rubens 5 was just this picture. We didn't know, so I ran to read it, and the book is like 4 seasons.
Everything was interesting. So the camera stays with a group, and then it travels to the other group. You know, because that was pretty much the memory I had from the house. The choices that we also made, I mean, the whole thing was about creating a texture in that family. So we rehearsed in the house at the center of the film, at the heart of the film, this character, the house as a character. We rehearsed in it for 3-4 weeks. And then we shot in chronological order. The whole crew is so focused because you know you can't do 10 takes. You're going to do 2 takes, maybe 3. Kieślowski, the great Polish director, only gave 1 take to his actors. So imagine the concentration on that sets, you know, in his sets. So we had that, and we also did an enormous research. It took us 7 years to do the films. Behind the human geography, the faces, you had a sense of the social, political climate that was going on, you know? And this is when we embraced the Super 8. We said, okay, that will give immediacy, and that will also allow for errors, something that is unpredictable to enter into the film. And a lot of the scenes in Super 8 were shot by the actors themselves.
You know, there's a lot of, I think, a great part of the documentarist that Walter is in this film, especially when you shoot like the 70s. There is the 70s in fiction. So everybody has you look like 70s, but it's not real. And Walter had a real memory, and I think he wanted to be faithful to that memory. So in the film, there is a lot of mixture between what the actors were feeling with what the characters were feeling. For instance, that party, we were really partying because they are all our friends. So it was great. And the day Selton left the movie, and Selton is my dearest friend, was the last day I saw him. And then not only with him, for instance, at the end, when the little girl, was the first film she did. She was not an actress, the 2 boys. And even, I mean, the playfulness that they had, because they were not actors, that interfered a lot in our way of being, and even a dog. So, but the last day in that house was the day when they were like removing the furniture. That was the last day we shot in that marvelous house. And then suddenly Walter saw the little girl. She was watching that fantasy house being destroyed, becoming totally empty, and she had a mixed feeling that was the sadness of the character who was leaving the house, but also the sadness of the actress who understood that that was the end. So the film is full of it. I mean, I think we could not shoot like, today is after the prison. Now today we're happy, dancing. You see, it wouldn't work. And I think that's the documentarist that Walter had. It's in the root of Walter. I never felt like I was acting. And this is so difficult to achieve and so pleasant to achieve. And I think Walter did a great job by directing all of us in this movie, asking us to be real, to restrain our emotions, to do not show off, and to be real. And this is, and I find it like very brave by Walter, because he almost disappeared in the movie. You don't remember that there is someone directing it, and he's a great maestro because he just doesn't show off.
We had a faint idea, but and I think that as he's writing the book, he also discovers that his mother was the silent heroine of that, and he shared that with his readers. And as he shared that, he offered also a reflection of a larger memory, which is the memory of the country during those 30 years. And I find it very, always very powerful when, when a narrative, such as Marcelo's narrative, blends the personal journey with the journey of a country, the journey of a culture, when those things somehow intertwine.
That is still there, but also involuntarily and weirdly, it's also about the authoritarianism that is still here today. How do you think the movie talks about this?
You did Casa Jari, I did not.
I think it's true, it's still here. And in Brazil, there was this amazing thing that happened when the film was released. At the same time, the country discovered that there was a coup d'etat, a military coup d'etat, made by people who were in the military at that time. Like the general who was involved in the coup d'etat now, a coup d'etat that wanted to kill the president, the vice president, and the Supreme Court judge. So it happened at the same time. And so it was so amazing that the country was able to persecute them, something unimaginable before, and that was happening at the same time that we were releasing this film. So Brazil has been really brave, I think, with its institutions to try to control authoritarianism. I don't know if we'll be able to do it in the future, but I think the Supreme Court has been really brave, and it was unbelievable that this film, it's like Eunice Paiva is really an entity. You see, when I got the award, I didn't feel that it was for me. It was because of this woman. And she's moving and still moving things now when Brazil is fighting for what she fought. So it's really unbelievable that this film was being released now. And I hope Brazil keeps saving its institutions in order for this, to be sure that this won't happen again.
Can I just add something in the same line? Is that, when the extreme right rises to power, it tries to destroy two things almost immediately. One is public education, and the second thing is memory. It tries to erase memory. And this is why the role of literature, the role of music, the role of theater, of cinema is so important, because it's a way to fight against oblivion. It's a way to leave a memory of who we were in a specific time. A little bit like in the cave painting, somebody did and said, okay, this is how we were in this specific time. So it just tells about the importance of that, of leaving those echoes of memory, and the importance of sharing it as we are sharing it here collectively also, because this will give us strength.